Hi, and welcome back to the Armchair Pundit Show. This week, we're going to do a little bit of a twist of a show. We're going to do the Premier League best 11 so far, and each of us will pick our Premier League 11s and discuss it. Possibly change each other's minds, but I doubt it very much. But at the end of it, we'll post our teams, and you guys can comment and see whether you agree with our teams, disagree, or you just think we're talking complete nonsense. So, without further ado, the format we'll go through, we'll do goalkeepers, then defenders, then midfielders, then attackers, and go through that way. So, Leon, your goalkeeper?
Yep. I've gone for Vicario, which I'm sure is no shock to you. I think we've been pleasantly surprised with how well he's adapted to not only obviously coming to the Prem, but adapting to a team that's playing a very, very attacking football. He's often left having to play a sweeper-keeper role, and he's comfortable enough on the ball to deal with teams being able to try and play a high press against us. And I've been really impressed with how much more comfortable our defense looks with someone who actually, feels confident with the ball. But to be honest with you, some of the saves that he's made this season have been unbelievable. So yeah, I think before the whole Chelsea game, we had one of the best defensive records in the league. But obviously, since we've had those injuries, it's gone down a little bit. But to me, he's still been amazing during that period, and we would have conceded a hell of a lot more goals had it not been for him.
Okay, as you said, it was expected. So, just to break it up, because we don't want it to be Tottenham. So, at first I had Vicario down, but then when I looked at it, I opted for Alisson. Vicario's been fantastic, and Alisson, and I thought, yeah, he's been great. But then I thought, but I might not picking Alisson because he's just the best in the league or the best in the world. So I looked at a few of the stats and save percentages and all the rest of the stuff, rather than just the eye test. A lot of the stats backed me up on it as well. So I went for Alisson because he's probably, minus this weekend, because this weekend his distribution was completely shocking. I don't know what happened to him this weekend. But before this weekend, he's been faultless, in all honesty. And so, yeah, it's an easy pick. For me, Alisson is my number one.
Well, I guess to go on the biasness again, funny that Spurs fans picked the Spurs goalkeeper, Liverpool fans picked the Liverpool goalkeeper. And I'm going to do the same. Like, for me, Vicario, if it hadn't been for the impact that he's made for the team itself, coming into the Premier League from the Italian league and fitting in and adjusting so quickly and being such a big impact, I probably would have gone for Alisson as well, because Alisson's just qualities, like James says. Even though I know James is big-headed, best in the world, he probably is, to be honest with you. And he's just doing what he standardly does. Obviously, this weekend his distribution wasn't great, like you said, James, but overall he's been quality. But for me, Vicario, for what he's done coming into a new team in the Premier League and converting our backline and giving us the ability to use him as a passing outlet, his distribution has been good. His saves have been crazy. The sweeper keeper stuff has been mental. Like Leon mentioned, obviously after the Chelsea game, we've taken a bit of a hit with injuries and suspensions. But even in that Chelsea game, when we were down to 9 men, some of the saves that he was pulling off, some of the screaming out of the goal and sliding and caring when players are free on goal was amazing. And for me personally, based on the fact that he's come into the league new and hit the ground running and had such an impact for us as a team, that for me is giving him like goalkeeper of the season so far for me.
I can't complain with that. Like I said, I think it has been amazing. And I guess, I don't know, I think it's because, would you say it's because of the drop-off? Or not even the drop-off from what you've had last season? You think that's what makes it even more of a standout? If you had a goalkeeper that was better than what Lloris was, and the number 2 was Forster, would it be as much of a, oh my goodness, this is amazing?
Maybe. I mean, it's possible. If we had prime Lloris, then the drop off wouldn't be as big. But we know that Lloris's form dropped off quite heavily in the last few seasons, where he's been at fault for a number of goals. So yeah, I would definitely say that you could argue that because we feel so much more confident with Vicario in goal, that there may be a difference. But in all honesty, I don't think you can really debate too much between, like, Alisson is a great pick for being a goalkeeper of the season so far, because he has been amazing. And the only thing that's been a little bit of a mark against him has been his distribution. But in all other facets, he one-on-one situations, he is, to me, the best in the world dealing with one-on-ones, and he saves Liverpool so many times. I mean, the save success is probably the biggest difference between the two at the moment. But
79%, highest in the league.
But
79%.
then if you look at our last 3 games, we've conceded what? I think it's 8 goals. 8 goals in 3 games.
I think so.
In these losses, because we lost 2-1 to Wolves, 2-1 to Villa, and then 4-1 to Chelsea, and that's because we've been playing with a makeshift back line. So I think these last 3 games have definitely hit Vicario more than at any other point in the season. But yeah, to me, either one you could go with. I think people have been impressed with both keepers this season. So
even even in these last few games, Vicario has still produced saves that have saved us, and like you said, Leon, the results that we've had could have been even worse if it wasn't for the fact that he was there. Alisson, the
Newcastle game,
many times.
Newcastle game, man.
Many times we said before, like last season, he was your player of the season. Last season, he's carried that form into this season, and deservedly so. He's been one of the best goalkeepers in the league. So it's a close call between the two. I've just said, for me personally, like I said, it's just the impact into the new squad and into the new league that made the difference to me.
Cool, makes sense. So I'll go left back, because I'm pretty sure you guys are probably going to choose the same left back as me anyway. So for me, I think Udogie's probably been the standout left back in the league this season. I'm doing a 4-3-3. I'm not sure we all are. So it might change a bit on the next section. So I've got Udogie as my left back. I've got Van de Ven as my centre back, along with Van Dijk. They both play left sided, but Van Dijk can play right sided if we need to. And right back, I was going to put Trent. I really considered it, but I couldn't go past what Trippier's done so far this season. So my back 4 is Udogie, Van de Ven, Van Dijk, and Trippier.
Okay, my back 4 will be same as you to a certain extent, James. I've got Udogie at left back. I've got Van de Ven centre back, but next to him, I've gone with Saliba instead of Van Dijk. And yeah, I think Trippier stand out right back this season. You can't really look past him at that position, personally, in my opinion.
Okay. Cool. Mine's a controversial one, as I'm sure you'll probably attest to when I tell you when it is. But the reason I've done this is because I didn't feel like I could leave any of the ones that I chose out. So I've gone with Trippier at right back, as you have. But I've gone with Saliba, Van Dijk, and I'm playing Van de Ven at left back, which seems mad.
Okay.
To me, in terms of when I've...
Do you know what, yeah? Do you know what, yeah, I actually contemplated that, but because he hasn't
That's why you wanted a 5.
Yeah, I did want a 5. But
yeah, that's why you wanted a back 5.
Bro, the reason is,
he hasn't played there. He hasn't played there for us, so I did it for that reason.
See, in terms of positionally, you might, as in when you look at a team sheet, but if you look at how much he deals with having to go on that side, he's often finds himself out having to defend one-on-one on that wing anyway, because Udogie is so far up. So I understand from a positional sense that you wouldn't put him there, but I'm putting him there because when I've seen him defend one-on-one, I think he's been the best one-on-one defender in dealing with duels I've seen in the Premier League this season. I couldn't really take Van Dijk out of there because I think that he's been amazing for Liverpool this season, and they've looked so difficult to beat, especially conceding goals, which people have obviously said that he's dropped off since the injury, but I feel like this season he's definitely come back to what we expect from him, and he's adapted to not being in the same like physically or as mobile, but I think the way he's adapted, reading the game, and the way he's commanded that defense has been amazing this season. And Saliba, can't really argue. I mean, Van Dijk and Saliba have contributed to having the best defensive record in the league, and he's been great for Arsenal. Arsenal haven't even been on form like they have been, but look, they're top, and they've got more points. You guys told me that they got more points than they did at this stage last season, and that's partly because of how well they've been defensively. So, a bit of a controversial one, but I couldn't leave Van der Ven out, and that's the reason why he's playing there, and he can play there because he's known that he's had to do in the past.
Yeah, I don't think that's fair. I think that's a bit of a cheat code there, Leon. Like,
I don't care.
Man's had to choose between. I've had to choose between Saliba and Van Dijk, and that decision was a hard one.
Same.
Well, that is the reason why I did it. And it is a cheat. And to be honest with you, if I'm being really honest, it would have been Udogie if it wasn't for the fact that I feel like I've been even more impressed by Van der Ven. And that's the reason why I did it.
Yeah. So for me, Van der Ven, what he's done again, coming into the league fresh, changing our defence completely. That's why he started for me. I think Saliba just edged out Van Dijk for me because he's been the rock for Arsenal this season. He's had different defensive centre-back partnerships, but he's been the one that's solidly been there and represented. They've been good defensively, Arsenal. He's been a leader. He's scored some goals as well, which has contributed to that. Van Dijk, again, I guess it's the same thing with Alisson for me. Is like he's doing what you expect him to do in it, and sometimes it's a bit hard to say. Like maybe towards the end of the season when we're doing our final team of the season, it might be different. But when these guys are just repping and doing what they standardly do, it's a bit harder to overlook the players that have come in and had an impact or have had slightly harder scenarios to where they're performing to at the moment. So that's my reason for leaving Van Dijk out and putting Van der Ven in. Although, Leon's just shown that there's a way.
Yeah, there's a way. I thought about Saliba, and it's similar to what you said in terms of being the rock of the team and defence. But I look at it and I've seen a different side of Van Dijk. He's a captain now, and that's showing. His performances at the beginning of the season, I wouldn't have had Van Dijk as being in the best centre back in the league again. For me, he is. It's not clear like he used to be, but he still just about is the number one centre back. And the captaincy, the leadership, the responsibility that he's been given now, have just upped his game again. So thank you, Henderson, for leaving, because it's actually helped us in that regard. Because we've got our defensive rock back. But no, shouts to Saliba. There's been criticism for him. I know from the French former defenders saying that he's not actually a good defender. And I think by the end of the season, as much as I don't like to say it, because before the season started, I still would have said he's behind Konate, but he probably isn't, if I'm being really honest to myself. And by the end of the season, he probably will prove that he's probably top 3 in the league, if he's not already in many people's eyes.
The thing is, along that French look at the moment, obviously Saliba's like the standout centre-back for Arsenal. Konate at the moment is having to fight for his place because Matip's been on form. So it's a bit of a hard one to judge those two against each other, really, because one's a solid foundation, constant playing every week in his team, whereas the other one's battling to win and earn his position next to Van Dijk. So it's going to be a hard one for them to.
I think it's injuries as well.
Yeah,
I think if Konate hadn't had the couple of injuries he's had, he wouldn't have had a chance to lose his spot to Matip. So I think I factor that into it as well.
Matip's been good. You can't argue that. Matip.
He has. Okay, so we'll move on to midfield. So this time you'll start, Daryl, with your 3 in midfield. I'm assuming it's 3.
Yeah.
Actual midfielders.
All right. Sure. Haters, don't be haters, mate. I'll make my own rules.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one.
Because you're changing up the thing, innit? Yeah, you see that.
Well, I've had this problem the whole way through, and as we're doing the three in midfield, I'm gonna have to stick with the three midfielders. I can't play a winger in midfield. It's not gonna work. So someone's gonna have to miss out. So for me, I will say my midfield is gonna be um, Madison, Basuma, and I will say, based on the trying to make a midfield that works, Ward-Prowse.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wasn't expecting that.
Me neither. But it's not a bad shout for Ward-Prowse. He has actually been quite impressive for West Ham this season. Probably a bargain, but one of the bargains of the season, definitely. Along with Madison, really. I'll go with my three. So I've picked Declan Rice, Szoboszlai, and Madison. So I've gone with
Wow.
balanced midfield because Szoboszlai has been box to box, which we didn't really know how box to box capable he was. I think he's had a little drop off the last couple of games, but prior to that, he's been amazing this season. I think Declan Rice has really shored up Arsenal's midfield. I think he looked really, really impressive. I think there was a small case for Rodri, but I marked Rodri down because of that stupid red card that he got and he went missing for 3 games. So that's counted against him. But I think for Arsenal, Declan Rice has been brilliant for them, and he's adapted to a new team. Obviously, it's the Premier League; he knows what he's doing, but the way they play is a lot different to West Ham. So I've gone with him, and Madison kind of speaks for itself. Before the injury, he was literally our talisman, creating chances, building from the back, and just adapting to having that free role. I think he's been amazing. So that's my 3.
That's funny because exactly same as mine.
Oh,
so I had Madison.
I saw your face.
Left.
I thought there was a shot there.
No, because I had the same. I've been raving about Szoboszlai from the beginning, so Szoboszlai was always going to be in mine. Madison has just been on point from the get go, and he's transformed your team, and he stood out in the league as in general. My argument was between Rodri and Declan Rice, and I had to flip the coin, and I did the same thing you did. The red card tipped it to Declan Rice, but even now I'm still wondering because I'm arguing. In my head, I'm thinking who's better, and rather than who's had better time, which is why Rodri was getting in there ahead of me because he's a better defensive midfielder as far as I'm concerned. But
if you look at it stats-wise, from a defensive impact, Rice has actually obviously he's played more games because of the red. I think he played 2 more games because of the red card than him. But his defensive stats are better than Rodri's defensive stats this year. Rodri's passing, obviously, his Man City's team. He is the guy that links everything up in that midfield, so he's going to have more passing. But it's like 91% to 94%, and like to me, as I said, Declan's made Arsenal's midfield just look a lot more solid, and you can see he's top of the league right now.
So you threw a spanner into the works because I went looking when you told me about Chelsea's midfield. What's his name?
Conor Gallagher. Yeah.
Gallagher's stats compared to Declan Rice's, and his stats being better than Declan Rice's. And I've sat there and thought, when I've actually watched Chelsea, he actually has been really good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just that in general, they've been hopeless in front of goal.
Yeah.
That's what's cost them, really and truly. They can't score a goal. If they were able to score goals, then they'll probably be challenging like 4th or 5th. But they couldn't score goals, so they lost games. Simple as that. But he's actually been really good. So I thought about putting him in, but I couldn't justify it, really and truly. So in the end, I went for Declan Rice.
For me,
and that's my 3.
For me, Declan Rice, I don't think he started the season great, personally. I think he's taken a bit of more time to warm into that Arsenal squad. The last month or so, last few games, he's made a massive impact, I have to say. So that's why he didn't get in for me. I feel that Ward-Prowse is coming to West Ham team fit in nicely. He's always behind everything creative for them. I feel Basuma deserves to be in there because he's dominated midfields when he's played.
It's
He's
true.
absolutely dominated.
It's
He's
true.
made some stupid mistakes, like Leon said, the red card, those things come into play. So, for me, that's why he got in over Szoboszlai in terms of he can dominate in midfield, he can be creative, he can be expansive going forward, he can also do the dogged work if he needs to. Szoboszlai's been amazing. Let's be honest with you, it's hard for me to leave him out, but if I had taken anyone out, it would have been Ward-Prowse, and then I feel like I would have been a bit too.
Can you really compare them though?
defensive.
Because he's your DM.
Who's that?
He's your DM though. That's why. Basuma's your DM. So I don't know. I did it as in 8-8 DM. That's how I did mine. Obviously, rather than just picking 3 centre midfielders, that's how I did mine. So for me, Basuma was battling with those guys, whereas Szoboszlai was battling with guys that play as an 8, a box to box. Yes, Basuma can play box to box, but essentially he's been your DM, really.
I actually, so the thing is, right, I think Basuma for our first 8 games was outstanding, but I felt like he's dropped off the last few games. He obviously got a suspension for a yellow card, but I feel like he definitely dropped off. He wasn't very good against Chelsea, and he wasn't very good against Wolves either when he came back. So that kind of weighed on my mind that the Basuma that I saw at the very beginning is not the Basuma I've seen in the last couple of games, and that's kind of what went against him.
So this is the conversation. Obviously, when we decided we were going to do this show and we had a talk about doing it, obviously I was mindful of the fact that our last 3 games, the Tottenham players like Van der Ven, Basuma, those guys haven't played and stuff like that. But obviously we then said, okay, well, it's the season so far, so you got to take it back from the start all the way up until now. So for me, that's why those decisions came in there to me. Like, I don't think Szoboszlai's been as impactful in the last few games, in the same 3 games that the Tottenham guys haven't been around. I don't feel Declan Rice started the season as great. So, and you're right, Basuma has feel like he's dropped off, but based on the impact that we was having when we was top of the league, playing great football before the stupidness in the Chelsea game, that's why I've gone with my decision to have those players still in there. It's a hard one because the midfield at the moment, like it's stacked. Szoboszlai deserves to be in there.
No one said anything that no one said any player that is like this is an abomination. Exactly. Yeah. To me, I think everyone that's been named has a case, and the reason that we're doing this is because we're providing a difference of opinion. It's our opinion, it's what we see, and it's there's going to be an element of emotion in there. There's going to be an element of bias in there because of how much you watch your own games or your own team matches and whatnot. But so far, in terms of who's being picked, I think everyone has had a genuine shout to be part of that best team of the season so far.
Okay, so we'll move on. Leon, your attack.
You're probably going to moan at me again, but I don't care because my 2 white players can switch around and whatever they do want to do during the match. But I've gone with Haaland up top, and I've gone with Salah, and I've gone with Saka as my 3rd attacker. The reason is because as much as from a eye test, it feels like, has Arsenal really been that great with Saka? But when you look at his goal involvements, it speaks for itself. There's 7 assists, 4 goals. He's still a reliable player for them. Even when they're not playing well, he always seems to come up and do something and cause problems. Haaland, there isn't really much else to say because the guy's just out here breaking records. He seems less involved in the build-up than last season. Like I feel like he was more involved in games last season than this season. But again, he's just on the end of everything. He took his goal really well against City against Liverpool, on the weekend.
Liverpool.
So to me, it goes without saying. And Salah, I mean, for Liverpool, he's been their talisman. I think after Mane leaving, I think now Liverpool are starting to find their best 11. I feel like Salah has just remain that constant problem for teams. He's also become a lot less selfish in a sense of he makes passes at the right times. There was times where you felt like in the past he's only passed the ball because he can't go and score himself. Whereas now I feel like his decision making in the final third is a lot better. He makes better decisions, and you've seen that with his goal contributions this season. So I didn't really think there was much between those three guys, and there are players, I'm not going to name them because you might have named them, who definitely have an honourable mention, and I'll leave it to you guys just in case you've picked them.
I'll go next, just in case you've duplicated Leon like you did with the midfield. I'm going to go...
No, I haven't.
I'm going to go slightly, I wouldn't say controversial, but different to Leon.
Hopefully I haven't duplicated you.
I'm going to go Salah, Haaland, and Ollie Watkins as my front three. There was no way I could fit him into a midfield. You could even say like Bowen as well as another player that was hard to leave out. But I feel that those front three have done just that bit more to deservedly cement a top three place. Like you look at Ollie Watkins, he's got I think 9 goals, 8 assists. He's been involved in so many goals. It's crazy. Haaland 14 goals already again this season, and I feel Salah is improving on last season. I think you're right. Last season I lost to Mane, and I feel Salah like he had to step up and be that main guy and take the lead and be the goal scorer, be the creator, be everything. And I think this season he's now said, I can be the threat. Let them worry about me and let the rest of the team benefit from that. And he's getting assists, he's getting goals, and we're seeing the Salah, the Salah of a couple of seasons ago where he's like one of the best players in the world and it's a constant threat and a danger now. It's causing teams problems and it's giving other guys the chances. If those other guys took those chances, I think it'd be even better for Liverpool. But yeah, you know.
Shout out to striker.
So that's my front three. Like I said, it's hard to leave out Saka. You, like Leon said, you haven't realised that he's having such an impactful season because he seems to be doing it so quietly, but he's doing his thing. And again, Bowen. I think Bowen's got 7-8 goals this season for West Ham as well. But for me, those front three just stand out. So I'll let James say his now.
But good, we've all got different ones. Well, by one. So Salah speaks for himself. Probably best right-sided player to play in the Premier League, and he's even doing it as we speak now. Still, Haaland, and a bit left field. But if he hadn't got injured, then he'll be doing better than he has done already. And I've gone for Pedro Neto because assist-wise, in the team he was playing in,
assist-wise,
he was killing it. And listen, I don't need him to score, bruv. I got Haaland and Salah. I think it's to provide for Haaland, mate. So for me, it was between Neto and Doku. But I think Doku was skewed by that one game, where he was involved in every single thing. Yeah. So it made me think, has he really been that good in every single game?
Gradually, hasn't he, as well?
Typical Pep way, though, isn't it?
But, yeah, exactly. But Neto, before that hamstring, he was literally getting an assist every single game. And he got the goal.
Still top. I think he's still
in a Wolves team that don't score no goals. Which is
exactly. 8 assists, I think he's got. And he could have had more. He could have had more. So if he was playing for us or playing for Man City, or obviously Pep does things differently. But if he had a striker capable of connecting, then So that's my 3. Neto left, Haaland up top, and Salah right.
Fair enough.
Not bad.
So
to be honest with you, it's funny because you probably say I'll pick Van der Ven at left back, but the reason I didn't have Ollie Watkins because I can't put him on the left. It don't make no sense. So that's the only reason.
Watkins can play there.
Yeah, he can play there.
Admittedly,
Yeah, but you know,
But for
admittedly
me,
under the past
been
manager, not
I
the,
did-
yeah, admittedly under the past
Yeah.
manager, not this manager,
For
but
me-
you can play there, innit?
he's doing bits up. Yeah.
See, the reason why he wasn't considered for me, because he wouldn't be getting the numbers he's getting now if he was playing out left. He just wouldn't be. The reason why he's getting his numbers is because he's been ordered to stop going out
Yeah,
wide.
but he's got
and
the
doing other
assist to
stuff.
back it up as well, though.
His man,
He's got the assist to back it up as well, though.
yeah, but he has. But like I said, he'll be getting in Haaland's way. So keep that clear. Keep
It's a
that
good
clear.
point, though, still.
So yeah,
But no, something. Well, the teams are very, very similar. I think, as I said, everyone that's been picked has been worthy of a mention for sure. So, yeah, man,
Oh,
it'll
and
be interesting to see how the next phase of the season plays out because there's a lot of injuries getting to Christmas time where the fixture schedule gets a bit mad. So, a lot to play for, all to play for, man. It's still very tight, despite obviously our drop off. There's still a long way to go in the season.
only 4 points.
Exactly.
You lost 3 games in a row, and you're only 4 points off.
Normally, I'll be in despair
Obviously,
right now.
as you said, you're not planning to win the league, but
No.
to be 4 points off is still
It's
a
right.
nice place
I
to
can
be
deal
in.
with that. Mm-hmm.
dreaming of fifth, remember?
Just like you got
Dreaming
Man
of
City.
fifth.
You got Man City to play next, that's all. So it might be 4 in a row. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's gonna be 4, bruv.
Romero's not back. No, Romero's not back, is he? Damn, for you guys.
No cup games, so it's just league.
Well, I'd just like to make one more comment. Actually, I've changed my 1-1 decision. Bun Saliba, bun Arsenal, Van Dijk in. No Arsenal players in my team. Full stop. Peace. No Declan Rice, no Saka, no Saliba.
On that note,
Van Dijk, you're in, bro. You're in, bro. Yes, Van Dijk. Back it up.
so who's coming in for Saka?
Saka wasn't in my team, bro.
It was in Leo's team, innit? It was in Leo's team.
Nah.
Okay.
All jokes
Cool.
aside, Arsenal fans. Yeah. Run your team, innit?
He's staying in.
He's staying in. Nah, he's staying in.
Okay, well, he's not staying in. He's staying in, okay. All right, and that note, as we said, at the end of this, we'll post our respective teams. And feel free to write down your teams in comments. And enjoy the rest of your week. Peace out.
Peace.
Peace out.